This is Dan Reviews, where I tell you what the movie's about so that you don't have to watch it. Unless you want to. Today, we'll be talking about Fast and Furious 6. We start with Dom and Brian racing down a winding road in Spain. Mia is having their baby. We cut to Moscow, where we see Hobbs get out of a military truck. Some kind of satellite was stolen, and now he has to find out who did it. He assumes it's some guy named Shaw. They have someone that works for Shaw in custody. Hobbs beats up the guy in the interrogation room. Hobbs finds Toretto and asks him to find Shaw. He finds out that Letty is still alive. Toretto agrees to go. He calls the team and they assemble. Owen Shaw is the target. They find out that he is building a tech bomb, whatever that is. They all find out that Letty is working for the bad guy. They only agree to do this job if they can get pardoned for what they did in Fast and Furious 5. I guess we'll talk about that later. They go to Shaw's hideout and put a wire on the guy that Hobbs beat up in the interrogation room. They realize that Shaw brought them there as a diversion so he can take down Interpol. Hobbs and Dom wait for Shaw outside of his hideout while the rest of the team head towards Interpol. Shaw blows up all of the agents that came to his hideout. Hobbs and Dom chase Shaw down the street as he destroys cars on the road. On the other side of town, the team gets to Interpol and Shaw's team attacks them. A street chase ensues. Brian gets flipped over and the bad guys get away. Dom catches up with Letty, then Letty shoots him. We meet Shaw's team. While they're doing research on Dom and friends, they see a picture of Letty with Dom. We found out that Letty has amnesia. Meanwhile, Dom's crew finds out who they're up against. Roman calls them their evil twins. They make a plan to find Shaw again. Tej and Hobbs go to an auction with a lot of expensive cars. The auctioneer condescendingly tells them that they can't afford the cars. They end up buying all of them, embarrassing him and taking his clothes. Roman, Giselle, Han, and the agent lady have a run-in with Shaw's team. Roman and Han chase them through the street and fight. They get beat up. Giselle and the agent lady fight with Letty and one of the other bad guys. The team finds out that Braga is working with Shaw. Brian goes to jail so he can get information out of Braga. While he is in jail, he finds out that Letty was almost killed. She lost her memory because of the mission that Brian sent her on. Dom races Letty. He beats her. They share a moment and he talks about her past. She leaves. Shaw shows up and threatens to kill Toretto. But Hobbs was also there and threatens to kill Shaw. They both leave. The team thinks that they found him, but when Hobbs and the agent lady show up, the place is empty. While this was happening, Shaw sent a mole into a military base as a diversion, but the others know that this was a diversion. He's hitting the convoy. They get a tank that was in the convoy and wreak havoc on Dom and friends. A tank destroys innocent bystanders' cars. People run in fear. Roman jumps onto Brian's car.
Dom
saves Letty in the most ridiculous way possible. He uses his car to propel himself in the air and flies across a bridge while she's flying in the air. He has perfect aim and catches her mid-air. They land on a car and both are safe. They talk to Shaw and he tells them that they aren't even in the game. He has Mia held hostage and tells them to let him go if they want to see her alive. He leaves and we find out that the agent lady is actually working for Shaw. They get into their cars and chase Shaw and his team down a long ass runway to get on a giant plane. They fight inside the plane. They fight outside the plane. Everyone is involved. Eventually, Giselle falls off the car in the air and falls into the abyss because she was trying to save Han. All the bad guys get beat up. The plane explodes into a ball of fire. Dom escapes the fiery plane by driving out the front of it. I guess everything's good now. The family has dinner and are happy to be together.